right, right. And your customer over there that you replaced his lawn with Carapia.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure his water bill's gone down a lot.
And the place is looking good. If you was to go there next time, you go, what? Because remember we had a discussion with him about
Yes.
what behind the house, what's going on over there. Everything's dying. So why should I put anything on top of the soil? It's not going to help it at all. You should see it now because he had three three citrus trees that were dying, and then the gardener says, "Well, has this disease?" I said, "No, it doesn't. The disease is there's no soil." And then I'm still trying to get them to put soil on the slope. You have these plants growing on the slope, right? You know where the crappie is.
Yeah.
Nothing's on there. Nothing is on there. And I keep saying you need to add something, and then so he and even in the back, because he has a ficus that has this disease, had the disease. He says, I said, I originally when he called me when we walked to the back, and he said, "What can we do about this?" I says, "Well, you're overwatering. City water kills the natural environment of the soil. The trees, therefore, the fungus is basically, I say fungus among us, is basically taking over, and that's what's killing these ficus." But I'll do the best I can. And sure enough, the ficus is coming back because I went
Right.
under there and I basically planted microbes all up and down
Right.
on the bottom of the plants there. But they, it's and the place you next time you go, you'll say, "Wow." You can tell
Yeah.
it's working, but it isn't a permanent thing.
Right. Right. Well, I had an issue too that you kind of helped. I let the gardener trim my palm trees, and then you talked to the pro tree man that's been around here for 50 years, and yep, sure enough, I have that disease.
It's called Procilium wilt. Procilium wilt. So what happens is that all these plants get specific diseases because what happens is genetically the diseases are geared to attack those plants, and they
And I
only
let the
attack
gardener trim the plant with the
right.
dirty
And so
blade.
right, so he said one of the things that's happening now because of all that rain we got, the water destroys
And on.
what microbes you have available, and then nutrition is not available, and then it goes nuts. That disease basically stops the plant from absorbing nutrients. That's why it turns yellow, starts to turn yellow. And so what we're doing is, and I use your place as a way to clean my spraying rig. I spray the palms on a regular basis. I'm going to do that this week, spray them with the microbes. And the microbes interfere with the other microbes. And the microbes' job is, hey, we got minerals, feed it. And foliar feeding is very important. That's why we're doing it, because if I was to, when I first started, I was just taking care of the soil. Let's take care of the roots. But if the roots are not working, that takes a long time for it to heal. And in interim, you have to intravenous, like you do your body, intravenous, right in there, give it a shot. So and anything you put on your skin is like foliar, right? You absorb. So that's why we spray the leaves of the plants, they absorb the minerals. In the beginning, they don't have the system to do it, but eventually they soak it in. It starts to work slowly where they start to recover. I'm noticing that the palm is really likes what we're doing, and I'm hoping
I
that they
think
will.
all three of them look better.
Yeah,
But I noticed when because I was gone for a month and you really helped keep things going. But I noticed that when I walked in, the palms had dropped all those round
yeah.
balls of
There's
which,
there's seeds.
yeah, which has never happened before.
Yeah. So a lot of times the palms go into crisis mode. Oh, we need to reprogate, right? We need to have babies and let's throw seeds out. I'm going to die, that kind of stuff. And also too, they get stressed out. Stress causes them to do things like that too. And
No, it's great. Amazing that you've been able to resurrect them.
and it's actually like you said, Mother Nature's simple. It's really a very simple process of bringing the microbes back into the soil. And
Hmm.
that's what's so simple about it. But people don't understand the microbes, let alone that it's the microbes that feed the plants, not the humans. I remember a long time ago in Rodale, which is an organic, they did organic gardening magazine. It said, "Feed the soil, not the plants." I said, "Bingo!" See,
It
that was when I
both?
was a kid. When I was a kid, I read that. I go, "Wow, that is pretty cool." Feed the soil, and I said, "What do you mean by feed the soil? Feed the sand, feed the rocks?" No, you was talking about the microbes. Feed the microbes, and the microbes will feed the plants.
Right.
Same thing
But
with your roses. See how they're doing? All diseases start in the soil. That's because the good guys are not there. The good guys and the bad guys don't live in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in our body, we have every disease. You have cancer, all these things are already in our body. It's only when the things that hold them in place are not there that it takes all over in your body.
Right. I really believe in adding minerals to our water. I've been
Exactly
adding
right.
minerals years.
Exactly right. We need the same minerals. It's not a coincidence that the plants need 96 trace minerals and we do too. Everything's identical. And that's the cool thing about Mother Nature. She makes it, doesn't create anything new. She just makes the same system for everybody. My phone's ringing now. Oh my God, my phone's ringing.
Okay, well, what about soil organic matter? Understanding the significance of organic matter in soil and its role in
Right.
retaining
So,
moisture and supporting. That's composting organic
no, so
matter.
organic matter would be, remember I told you about the microbes live in different levels, like a condominium? It's the
Yeah,
house they live in. It's the house they live in. That's the organic matter. So if there's no organic matter in the soil, you're going to have different microbes living there. Like in the desert. There must be some organic matter, but it's not the same as we have it over here, where we have some real nice soil to work with. So all around the world, they have different soil kinds of. Soil is a definition that's wide range, just like rock does. It could mean anything. In the desert, you have soil, but not the same kind of soil as over here. Or even here, you don't really have soil, right? I mean, you're lucky you bring in soil. You have a rich soil, but over here we have clay, which is not soil, but people call that soil. It's a subsoil. It's supposed to be soil on top. Then
well, I
everything.
just came back from the Amazon
Yeah,
rainforest,
yeah,
and they have to do the biochar. They
yeah.
have to they have to create little fire. I couldn't believe they told me their soil isn't that great.
Yes, because they've been using it over and over and over again without any idea that they need to replenish it. Same thing. I have a friend in Costa Rica. He says, I have this pest problem. I said, what are you doing? Well, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're making compost. No, the soil is so rich and so healthy. Well, it's not if you're having these problems. It may look good, but if you keep growing and growing and growing, it's called soil depletion. It depletes the minerals, which normally Mother Nature would be providing all these minerals and stuff via the animals and the creatures and all the different systems that's in place.
Right. I know. I'm coming to think of it. I saw, when we were deep in the jungle where our fish was, I could see that's what we're eating. I could see those are the chickens we're eating. But when I think about the fruits and vegetables, I wonder if they got, I don't remember seeing the mango trees or the arugula growing or
Right. They don't have the right. See, they've been growing there all their lives, and if you talk to their fathers or their fathers' fathers, yeah, they would constantly be regenerating. They know how to rotate the crops. They know how to bring in things around. They would take things, kitchen waste. They would take all kinds of stuff, put it back in. And when they fish heads, put it back in. But nowadays they seem to have lost. I'm just guessing because I'm not there, but that's my feelings is that you have to constantly stay on top of it. If you're going to be using the soil over and over again, you have to be giving stuff. Otherwise, it will get depleted, and things will start not to happen the way they're supposed to. In other words, if we take humans away from the scene, in a few thousand years, the soil, everything will come back because Mother Nature is constantly doing their thing.
well, that's that Robert or David Attenborough talking about Chernobyl.
Right.
Everyone's gone, but it's this lush green
Exactly right.
place because the plants know how to keep
Exactly right.
everything going on. And then how about soil erosion? How do we prevent that?
That's the obvious. Is you have anything growing in the ground will prevent soil. Like for example, weeds. So if I would rather have weeds growing in the soil than no soil when it rains because everything just washes, the water runs down, whereas the weeds will grab the soil. You see what I mean? They will grab the
Right.
water and then the weeds will die and provide. So soil erosion has to do with growing things. Anything that wants to grow there, you grow it. That's why a cover crop is so good.
Anything's better than nothing.
Exactly right. Otherwise, it just gets baked, the microbes die. And normally, like in the rainforest, it's just overgrown with stuff. There's things are growing off. There's no barren patch there at all that nothing's growing, right?
Wow. I mean, it looked very lush walking through the jungle, but where's the food?
Right, right. And
You know, where's
that's an issue too. That's an issue that they're gonna have to learn. They're gonna, like in Africa, because
right,
they keep taking stuff out and they have no idea that it's gonna run out sooner or later. And the food, it's not nutritional. Like they were growing this genetically modified corn, and the doctor says you're sick. The food's no nutrition in it because they weren't putting anything into the soil. They're just growing in this dead soil that looks good because they rototilled it and did the whole thing. You know, that's why a lot of times people contact me. I don't know what's going on in my yard. Things are dying, but the soil looks so good. They go, well, send it to the lab soil test, and you'll see that it's missing a lot of things.
that's the next thing I was going to say is soil testing.
Right, and that's a very important issue. For me, I stopped doing soil testing because I automatically know what's going on. But people need to. You want to know? Send it to a lab, and we have a couple of really good labs that we can send them to, and they'll tell you.
What do they tell you? Exactly what it's deficient in, or if there's dangerous chemicals like that radon, not radon, but that Rocketdyne explosion in the 70s over in Simi Valley area. I heard that destroyed the soil all the way to Agura.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
girls that were horseback riding had to have their thyroid, dealt with because the dust coming up in that. So when we're testing the soil, are we testing just, what are we testing? The mineral and the chemical content, or are those
So
two?
you find what you look for. So in a soil test, they were very specific. Do you want a generalized soil test? In which case we'll tell you the pH level of your soil. We'll tell you what minerals you have, and we tell you if they're toxic or you don't have enough of them. If you want to test the microbes, that's a different soil test. If you want to test radiation, that's a different soil test.
Right,
So
that's what
they have different soil tests for everything that you can then see. You know, so the basic soil test will just tell you, okay, the pH. pH is very important. It tells you pH level of the soil. Then it tells you what minerals you have and how much you have and whether it's toxic. A lot of times they'll say you have too much of this, too much of this. That's what happens when you use chemical fertilizers. You have too much of these things and not enough of everything. See what I mean? So it becomes toxic. That's what a soil is.
So if you come and have your soil tested, can it be fixed, or do they just want to excavate? Because I heard a friend he is a soil tester, Chris's brother, and they just go backhoe and excavate and get rid of it. I don't know where they take it, but is there a way to
there is
deal with it without excavation?
Yeah, there is. You just have to learn how to use the microbes. He doesn't know about microbes.
No.
There's a place called we're getting the sponsor is called AgriGrow, and another place called Nitron. Now AgriGrow makes an enzyme, and this stuff is so amazing that they spray it on. They went to the war when it was in Iraq, and it was all toxic, and they sprayed it with the stuff, and the enzyme ate it right up. And the same thing with nitrons. These are special enzymes that you can learn, and so you can even learn how to use animal manure instead of taking it away, because he's taking it away because it's really toxic. So it may be being over toxic. It takes time to clean it up. So maybe they're in a hurry. One of the things he doesn't know is that he may take it away and put new soil in it, but he doesn't. There's still toxicity under there, and it'll suck it right back into the soil again.
Right. I was wondering about that. Like, what's the
yeah, how far down can you go?
How do you even, and then but you're saying there's a way to,
yes,
even let's say it's radiation.
Right, radiation. There's microbes eat up. There are microbes that eat up radiation.
Oh wait, I think we know of one. Wait, what isn't there like what is it, a snail or a worm, or wasn't there a rumor about some critter that ate up radiation? Or
well, that would be the microbes. They have microbes now that they have actually developed in the lab that go after radiation. So and they have microbes now that what they did was they found
wait,
microbes.
It's growing hemp.
Hemp, I don't know if hemp will take care of the radiation.
No.
Well, hemp is actually a weed and it sucks up minerals and stuff, but it won't really knock out the radiation. It won't convert it. It doesn't absorb radiation.
Okay.
It's very possible there are some crops that have the microbes with them, and the root systems that are very good for converting radiation. But usually what happens is the cover crops die, the crops die from the radiation. So I don't think there are any really crops available, trees or whatever, that can handle the radiations. But the microbes do. But it takes a while for it to clean up the soil on that level. So what they
Mhm.
do is they find microbes that like radiation because they're radiation. Certain places like where we talked about where that and lots of places in Japan where they had the explosion, the microbes ate the radiation, and they even found the microbes in certain places, and they take, well, we're going to take that, we're going to grow it in the lab, and then we're going to start putting it onto real life and see if the microbes. But you actually have to be applying microbes on a regular basis because they don't survive for long. They eat the radiation and die. But they got rid of the radiation, but getting rid of radiation is a very long-term thing.
Right. Right. It's
Years.
well, like I told you, when I went to Dr. Wagner, let's just plug him. You used to make gem elixirs for him. Then he figured out how to make them. Um,
I told them what to do.
and right, you taught him how to make it. Now, why was I bringing him up?
Radiation.
Oh, he went and saw a few of my friends went to him, all, in their mid to late 50s. He asked everyone when they were in Europe and if they were in Europe during, this time, 80, whenever Chernobyl happened, I can't remember, but 80 something to 80 something. Were you, or 90, were you in? And they all of us had been. However, he said to me, "You've been doing hot yoga for decades, haven't you?" So the sweat got rid of the radiation
Yes,
from
ma'am.
me.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I mean, soil really can't sweat,
It's
but
water
but
molecules.
there's a way to detox soil. If I could have, if I didn't get asked that question because of all the sweating and detoxing, then there must be a way for the soil as well
Right, that
to,
would be the microbes.
and that's the microbes.
That's the microbe. They
Be
would
able
go
to,
through plastic too. They would go through a lot of stuff, but they're not normally found throughout the world because you don't find these radiation. But the microbes will evolve, and once they start growing, you can actually inoculate areas with the microbes over and over and over again because the microbes will tend to die off, but the microbes will clean up the soil. And then you could bring plants which are not normally like weeds, and they will further help to detox the soil because what happens is that you have all kinds of other toxins that are in the soil as well.
right. That's incredible that we can do that, turn things around. Um, crop rotation.
Yeah, we talked about that one already, right? We're going to the next one.
The I know we've kind of doubled it. The last one is the agroforestry, which I'm not really examining the integration of trees and crops in systems to promote soil.
Right. So if you're a homeowner and you have a backyard, basically has to do with your trees that you have growing there and what you have growing on there on it, whatever form of tree or plant you have. And you'll learn that they're very important for your soil health. They hold water, they keep the soil together, they recycle everything, they produce leaves. That's why it's so important to try not to throw anything that they give you. Get yourself a shredder, shred everything and put it right back in again because it's all part of the process.
Well, that's why I like it. That one property, it's several acres, that beautiful property up the street with all those sycamore trees. You were hired 2 years ago to take care of their trees. They're gigantic trees.
Right.
And now it's turned into the entire property. But by handling the trees, did it help the soil with everywhere, or just, I mean, it's kind of a
Well,
stupid
what happens is that the
question.
property is full of trees all over the place.
Right.
Trees are often an indicator of the health of the soil. And I tell people, what do you want, trees or you just want lawns? You know, and so they want the trees because the trees are very beneficial in lots of ways. They provide some shade from the heat, they hold water from the rains, and they have their own special microbes, their own ability to recycle everything. So that's important. If you don't have any trees in your property, it's going to be a lot harder for you to grow things. That's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
The wind will blow through there, gets super hot and super dry, you know. So that's that, and it holds, and you have to water a lot to keep anything alive.
Mm-hmm.
But the root system of a tree aerates the soil. They have all little microorganisms going under they have special microorganisms growing on the root systems of the trees. The trees for me, they communicate with everything and everybody. The mycorrhiza expands out from the trees. The trees are the main reason why the mycorrhiza grows on the property, and it expands. And the root systems are not just there by the tree; they go out for quite a ways, and they wrap around other trees, they wrap around other things, and they feed them as well. Trees like mothers, right, of a property. They take care of their property.
Aw,
Yeah,
that's
that's what trees do. I always go to the most important tree on the property and pay my respect to that tree.
right.
You see?
That was the pepper tree up at that Pepperdine property.
Yeah,
That was the one, but then he had so many other trees that needed it.
yeah. So that's the way it works. Trees are very important, and in a farm, you're not going to find a farm without any trees. You know, so they're all part of the system. You take them away, then you're vulnerable.
Right, right.
And trees are very important for lots of other reasons. They're considered Mother Nature's shock absorbers. They take in carbon dioxide and give off oxygen.
Right.
They provide, I forget the name of it, but it basically means how much cover you have over cities, how much cover you have over your property. That's what trees do.
Mm-hmm.
See, so if you have trees, you're going to get a lot more oxygen, right? The trees are putting out oxygen all the time. You know, they're taking in carbon dioxide. They clean the air for you. They clean everything up. Toxins in the air, they absorb it. You know, that's why a city needs more and more trees, right? It should have more
Mm-hmm.
trees. And I forget, that's a name for it. I forgot. When you fly over a city and you look at a city, you can tell how healthy the city is by how much trees are growing.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Right.
right? Right. That's very important.
I
That's
heard
why it's
Berlin
called
is very,
agroforestry.
what's that?
That's why it's called agroforestry.
Agroforest. Well, I heard Berlin is very green city. Who would have known? Probably greener than LA.
Yeah, and Berlin's having their own particular problem with trees that have been growing for centuries, and they're starting to die off now from this a type of disease. It just tells me that they're not paying attention to the microbiology of the soil.
Right.
That's all it is.
We
And
got to reach we got to reach them too, our German friends.
exactly right. And so the microbiology of the soil is just the microbiology of the body in our stomach.
Right. That's why I do minerals all the time
Yeah,
and detox hot yoga. And there's something to it, especially if you've been doing it for a while. It's never too late to start. But like the soil, you build up an interest. You build up interest and a resilience to it and an immunity to things.
exactly right. And it works, and it works, but you have to keep working on it. You have to keep eating your minerals on a regular basis, otherwise everything goes back. Chaos is the rule of the universe. Chaos is like death, and everything go that direction. It was just start going that direction. You have to constantly be alive, you have to eat, you have to do your thing. Otherwise, it just goes backwards, and next thing you know, you're
I
dust.
know. Well, thank God we have your website up. People can ask questions right to the website, invisiblegardener.com. They could buy
Sign
your
up,
book,
sign up for the
sign up for the
newsletter.
newsletter.
Guess what? We're going to be having a live stream coming up really soon. We can actually talk to us on the air here, ask questions, and I'll be right. We'll both be right here to talk to you.
Oh, great. We could talk about Kundalini yoga too.
Yeah, anything you want to. You're half of the show. You're half of the
Okay.
show. So I'm using you to make up my other half.
Yay. I'm
Yay! Right?
excited. Thanks, Andy. I'm glad we finally got together. Thanks for waiting for me and thanks for taking care of the property while I was in the Amazon.
Oh, it's going to get better and better and better. That's the way it works. But you have to just intent. The intent is very important. You have to be there for. I talk to your property all the time, to the trees, to everything there. Hey, everybody, what's going on? You know, people. Hey, there he is again, talking to the trees. I'm
Right,
like a tree hugger. You know, you have if you acknowledge it, that everything's alive. You know, I even have a hard time killing ants because they're living beings as well. You know, one of my books is called Dances with Ants. Nothing to
right.
do with killing them, you know, it has to do with understanding the ants are Mother Nature's janitors, and they clean up. The job of cleaning up dead old stuff is important. When things get sick, they have to go.
We could talk about ants on the next show because there's been a lot of dancing with ants around here,
Yes,
inside,
there is,
outside.
and you're going to see the difference. And when more things become alive, what you know what I'm spraying around your place for ant control is the microbes. They hate that.
Mhm.
The soil controls all diseases and pests. It controls ants. Whenever you
Well,
have an ant infestation, you know you have a problem with your soil.
well, people need to call the invisible gardener and have them come to your house and treat your ants. And I'm
Yeah.
excited, Andy. I think these podcasts are going to be super helpful. They're helping me.
Oh, they
And
are. They are going to be. They are going to be very, very helpful. We're looking forward. Don't forget to click on the follow, click on the like, and then make a comment.
oh yeah,
And I will get your comment and text you right back because I'm here for everybody. I'm here for everybody to learn and to experience it. Like cooking, I'm actually a very bad cook. You taught me how to make dal, and your dal is so amazing. I'm still learning. I'm going whoa whoa, and so it's a process of learning. It's a process of learning. Everybody's good at one thing and bad at something else. So that's the way it works. I happen to be good at this, and I really enjoy helping anybody out there that wants to make their soil healthy and in turn, that's why we call it from the soul to your soil, because if your soil is happy, your soul will be happy.
that's right. Well,
Right?
we'll do it again this week.
Yeah, we're
Let's
going to
do it
do
again
some
this week.
more. We're going to do some
Okay.
more. Okay, everybody, take
All
care
right.
now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening to my show or watching it. See you next week. Remember, it's invisiblegardener.com. That's me, Invisible Gardener. Bye. Bye.